You know if you're sitting out there in your car keys in your hand, full tank of gas, ready to go, and you simply start driving without much thought, without choosing a real destination or clear direction. You may go fast, you may cover a lot of miles, but you'll probably end up somewhere you never planned. Or even worse, you might wind up nowhere meaningful at all. The very same principle holds true for real achievement in life. It all begins with honest clarity and deliberate intention. You can't arrive at what you haven't carefully defined. Take out a simple sheet of paper right in front of you. There's something truly magical about putting pen to paper, writing the goal down, making it tangible and visible. When you can see the picture in your mind clearly and also see it on the page right before your eyes, you start to create your own map, your own personal blueprint. Some people say, well, Jim, you don't understand. I'm working hard every day and night. I'm putting in hours. I ask them towards what are you building? And sometimes they really don't know. They have no answer. That's just like paddling hard in a boat with all your strength, with no destination in mind, no harbor, no shore in sight. You wind up going in circles, round and round, without progress. Let's get this straight so there's no confusion. Effort is essential. It's a critical piece of the formula. But effort without direction, without a target, is like rowing with all your might and passion, and yet never truly leaving the shoreline behind you. See, if a person aims at nothing at all, is absolutely bound to hit it every single time. Achievement doesn't begin with business or busyness. It starts the very moment you decide where you want to go. Think about the last time you carefully planned a trip. Maybe you picked up a map or opened your GPS for directions. First question is always, where are you headed exactly? If you don't decide that, nobody else can guide you properly. Life works the same way. Clarity has to come first. The more specific you are, the more precise your aim, the better your chances of hitting what you're shooting for. Don't leave it just floating around up in your head. Don't let your dreams drift around like clouds with no shape. Write the goal in detail with honest words. Define it, draw it, describe it until it feels real. Hang it on your wall, carry it with you in your wallet. Put it where your eyes will land on it often each day. Say it out loud every morning if you have to. Whisper it every night before you sleep if you must. Make the target visible and impossible to ignore, because the mind works best with clear pictures and images. Show yourself what you want again and again. When the destination is clear and well defined, the mind begins to organize your thoughts automatically. It starts to shape your habits and your daily patterns. Your decisions and your days start lining up to help you get there. If you find yourself drifting without focus, or if you ever feel lost or confused about your path, stop for a moment and ask with honesty, what am I after? What do I really want deeply? What does it look like in detail in my imagination? What does it sound like? What does it feel like inside to arrive and to live that reality fully? Let the answer anchor you like a strong foundation. Don't be afraid of wanting too much or dreaming bigger. The real danger isn't in aiming too high and missing. It's in aiming too low and actually hitting that small target. Most people don't set any goals at all, and their lives become a random series of events, like ships tossed around by the wind and waves. But you can choose differently starting now. You can chart a course with intentionality and courage, and it all begins with that first simple act of clarity. So tonight, make that your first real assignment. Define the destination in your own words. Paint the picture in your mind with vivid colors. Write it, see it, study it until it sinks in. Speak it out loud and let it become familiar. And from that moment on, every effort you make will have direction, purpose, and a sense of meaning. That's the true start of genuine achievement. You see, every map, every real road map, no matter where you're headed in this world, starts with a worldview, a way of thinking, a philosophy. That's the foundation under everything else. It's not just what you know in your head, but how you interpret what happens to you along the way. Philosophy colors your understanding of challenges, shapes your response to setbacks and frustrations, and frames your approach to every opportunity that appears. If someone hands you a perfect detailed map, but you secretly believe you're unworthy of reaching the destination, chances are you'll sabotage the journey without realizing it. If your philosophy says, the whole world is against me and luck never shows up at my doorstep, then even the clearest route won't take you very far. On the other hand, a strong, sound philosophy declares, I can learn, I can adapt, I can change and grow. I can make consistent progress step by step. And that kind of thinking turns every obstacle into a lesson, not a life sentence, not a permanent prison. Ask yourself quietly and honestly, what do you believe about real success, about lasting achievement, about your own potential? That's your starting point, your inner launch pad. If your beliefs are shaky and contradictory, your steps will be uncertain and hesitant. A weak philosophy leads to endless detours, those long, frustrating trips down the wrong road, sometimes miles and years off the true course. Why does this happen to so many people? Because the foundation isn't strong enough to support the weight of the journey they want. Now, where does this thing called philosophy come from? From what you read and study consistently, from the voices you listen to and give authority to, from the experiences you gather each day, and from the reflections you make along the way. Life whispers lessons to you every single day, and sometimes it doesn't whisper, it shouts loudly. But it's up to you to listen and pay attention, to question, to evaluate, to choose which ideas become your compass, your true north. I remember talking with a young man one evening who couldn't seem to get ahead no matter what he tried. He told me about his bad luck and constant problems, his circumstances, and all the things not working out. I asked him about his philosophy, his core beliefs. He looked puzzled, like nobody had ever asked that before. Had never considered that his thoughts about effort, about opportunity, about learning from mistakes, were shaping his experience more powerfully than the circumstances themselves ever could. A clear shift in philosophy changes everything. Suddenly, detours become opportunities to learn, and dead ends become invitations to turn around and try a different way with new wisdom. You can always upgrade your philosophy if you decide to. Read a good book that stretches your thinking. Have a deep conversation with someone you respect, with someone who's walked a little farther down the road. Challenge your old assumptions regularly. The more you grow your mind and your perspective, the clearer your internal map becomes. And as your philosophy strengthens and deepens, so does your resolve, your courage, and your discipline. So before we talk about the vision in front of you, the strategic plan, or the companions you'll need for this long journey of achievement, pause for a moment and ask yourself honestly, what philosophy are you bringing on this trip? Is it helping you interpret setbacks as stepping stones or as permanent roadblocks that can't be moved? Is it turning challenges into learning experiences or turning excuses into a comfortable way of life? Strengthen your foundation day by day. Build a philosophy that supports you deeply, that guides you and keeps you steady in the storms. Because when the winds come, and they always do, it's your philosophy that determines your response, whether you stay the course with faith or drift away quietly from your own potential. That's the anchor for every real map of achievement. It's not just about the final destination, but about the mind and heart you bring to the journey. Start there, build there, and every mile gets easier. It's easy to believe that just working harder is always the full answer to every problem, that if you just grind long enough without rest, stay up late enough and push through every wall, then achievement is automatically guaranteed. But that's not the complete truth, not the whole story. Hard work alone doesn't guarantee meaningful progress. It's vision that turns all that effort into purpose. A person without vision can spend years incredibly busy, but never move any closer to something that matters. But when you have vision, a real clear picture, when you know what you are working toward and why, it lights a fire in the heart that doesn't go out quickly. It transforms routine tasks into a personal mission and struggle into opportunity and growth. Vision isn't about empty daydreaming or fantasy. It's about seeing as clearly as you possibly can the world you want to help build with your life, the person you want to become over time, the legacy you hope to leave behind you. That kind of vision gives effort its true edge. It gives you the powerful why behind every how. You get up early, not just because someone told you, but because you clearly see where you're headed. You push through challenges, not out of fear, but out of a sense of purpose stronger than obstacles. That's what a real vision does inside a person. I've met men and women over the years who were working harder than anyone else around them, yet because they hadn't settled the question of vision, their energy scattered in all directions at once. But when they finally caught a glimpse of what was possible, when they really saw it with clarity and passion, their entire attitude and approach changed. Energy turned. into enthusiasm with purpose, struggle turned into strategy with focus. Every setback became part of a bigger picture, not just another convenient reason to quit. There's something powerful about knowing your why. The world can try to discourage you and wear you down. Circumstances can get rough and challenging. But when you know your purpose deeply, motivation isn't the only thing holding you up. Purpose sustains you when pressure tries to break you. Purpose answers the question of why bother when the road gets steep and the nights get long. Ask yourself again and again when needed, what's the vision I'm chasing here? What does achievement really look like for me? Not just in things or titles or applause, but in impact, in character, in integrity, in the kind of life you'll look back on with pride. The clearer the vision, the easier it is to say yes to the right things with confidence and no to the wrong things without guilt. You stop drifting aimlessly and start moving with intention. Remember, vision is not a static, frozen picture. It grows as you grow and mature. As you travel farther, see more, and understand more, your vision expands and deepens, and that's good. Let it challenge you and pull you forward strongly, even on the days when motivation feels low. Purpose is stronger than pressure or fatigue. If you find yourself struggling to keep going, check the vision, refresh it, and renew it. Rewrite it if you must, and remind yourself what the effort is really for at the core. Because when vision is strong and bright, you'll find a way over, under, or through. The how becomes a matter of creativity and persistence, but the why remains your true compass and North Star. Achievement is sustained by that sense of purpose, not by the weight of other people's expectations, not by constant pressure or outside force, but by the steady pull of a vision that matters to you. Let that be the fuel for your entire journey. A dream is a wonderful, powerful thing. It stirs the imagination and lights up the spirit. But a dream without a plan to support it, that's just a wish floating around in the wind. If you want to convert direction into real discipline, you need the planning process with careful thought, routes, and milestones laid out like steps. That's how you turn vision into reality you can touch. Start with the big picture in your mind, then break it down into parts you can handle. The destination may seem distant and far away, but every long journey is simply a series of short, manageable steps taken consistently. What's the first step right in front of you? What's the next step after that one is done? Achievement is built by stacking small successes, one after another, moment by moment, day by day. Write out your plan in detail on paper. Lay out the route as clearly as you can. Identify the milestones that really matter most. Milestones serve as important checkpoints, moments where you pause and honestly evaluate and adjust your course if necessary. They're more than just markers on the path. They're feedback and guidance along the journey. They tell you if you're still on course or if you need to correct your direction. I've known people who made the mistake of trying to leap from where they are right now to where they want to be in one giant bound. And when the jump fell short and they stumbled, they lost heart and gave up too soon. But those who broke their journey into stages, who celebrated each milestone as a real win, found the courage to keep going again and again. Every small win builds confidence and belief. Every checkpoint reminds you that progress is possible. Planning doesn't remove all uncertainty, but it does give you a sense of control and focus. When you know your route even roughly, you wake up each day with a sense of what to do next. Discipline grows naturally when direction is clear. Without a plan, it's easy to become overwhelmed, distracted, or lost in endless little details. And don't be afraid to adjust your plan as you go. As you move forward, life has a way of surprising us. Sometimes a route looks perfect on paper, but the actual road teaches us something new. That's not failure, that's useful feedback. Plans aren't set in stone forever. They're meant to guide and give structure, but they're flexible enough to adapt to reality. Take time to reflect on your milestones regularly. Celebrate when you reach one honestly, then look ahead with hope to the next. The feeling of progress, even in small increments, fuels persistence and renews your energy. Each step, each checkpoint, each adjustment makes the goal feel less like a distant dream and more like a reality within reach of your hands. Planning also means preparing for obstacles wisely. Build in some margin and room for the unexpected. If you map the route too tightly with no flex, a single setback can throw you completely off. Leave space to learn, to recover, and to try again. Achievement favors those who plan carefully, but who also know how to adjust with wisdom and humility. So tonight, look at your dream with clear eyes. Break it down into practical steps. Write the steps. Mark the milestones one by one. Review your route often and keep it current. Discipline flows from clarity and structure, not just from sheer willpower alone. Let your plan be the bridge you walk on between intention and real accomplishment. And remember, every great achievement started with a simple yet serious plan. One step, then another, until the map turned into a real journey, and the journey became a life well lived. No matter how carefully you chart the route, every journey is marked by detours and dead ends. That's part of the process, not a sign of failure. The road to achievement is not a straight line. It twists, it turns, it rises and falls, and sometimes it seems to vanish altogether. But these detours are not final failures. They're feedback and training for your character. There's an old saying worth remembering: the path to success is always under construction. You make plans and you start with energy and hope, but then life throws something unexpected your way. An obstacle, a disappointment, a delay, a change in circumstances you didn't see coming. How you respond in those crucial moments will shape your entire journey and future. Some people hit a detour and immediately call it quits. They say, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be. But that's not the way true achievement works. When the route changes, it's simply an invitation to adjust the path, not abandon the goal. Read the signs carefully along the way. If the road is closed, look for a new way around. Sometimes the detour leads to a better view, a lesson, or a connection you would have missed otherwise. You'll find dead ends too on this journey. Places where your plan doesn't work anymore, your strategy falls flat or runs out of power, or your efforts don't produce the result you wanted. Don't take it personally or make it your identity. The best of us hit dead ends from time to time. The real question isn't whether you'll encounter them. The question is how quickly you'll recognize them and how willing you are to try a different approach. I've met people who spent years and years trying to force their way down a blocked road, all the while ignoring the signs right in front of them. But those who succeed over the long haul pay attention. They're flexible and teachable, not stubbornly blind. They stop, they think, and they ask themselves, what can I learn here? Is it time to pivot? Is there a better route or a wiser strategy? The willingness to adapt is just as important as the will to persist and hang in there. Remember, achievement is not about stubbornly sticking to one single way forever. It's about reaching the destination you chose. If the route changes, that's all right and natural. Stay flexible. Take in the feedback from reality. Sometimes you'll need to slow down and study the map again. Sometimes you'll need to back up a few steps before you can move forward with new momentum. There's no shame in adjusting course wisely, only wisdom and growth in doing so. And don't let pride keep you stuck in one spot. There's a lesson in every detour you face, an opportunity in every setback you experience. What looks like a delay might be preparation. What feels like failure in the moment might be the very thing that teaches you how to succeed more effectively next time around. In the end, it's not the absence of obstacles that leads to real achievement and fulfillment, but the ability to keep moving in spite of them. Stay alert, stay flexible, and stay teachable. If you have to change your plans at some point, do it with intention, not out of panic. Detours and dead ends are simply part of the journey, evidence that you're moving and attempting, growing, stretching, and learning along the way. The road may twist and turn many times, but as long as you keep adjusting and moving forward, you're still on the map of achievement. As you travel this map of achievement over time, you'll notice something very important. It's not a solo journey. You're not alone out there. The companions you choose to walk with can either speed you along your route or steer you quietly off course entirely. People are like elevators in your life. They'll take you up or they'll bring you down. Who you travel with truly matters more than you think. It's easy to underestimate the influence of environment, but the truth is we all rise or fall to the level of those we spend the most time with. If you surround yourself with people who expect little, who settle for average and excuse every delay, you'll find your own standards slowly slipping. But if you walk with those who think forward, who act disciplined and demand excellence, you'll be drawn to match their pace and their habits. I've seen this principle play out time and again. Someone with great potential and talent spends too much time around negative thinkers or professional excuse makers and blamers, and pretty soon their progress slows to a crawl. Enthusiasm fades and the dream gets lost in the crowd. But those who choose companions wisely and carefully, who look for mentors, peers, and friends committed to growth, find themselves challenged, encouraged, and stretched, and held accountable to their own best standards. Think about it. When you share your goal with someone who believes in achievement and growth, their response isn't to pour cold water on your fire. They ask questions, they offer insights and ideas. Sometimes they hold your feet to the fire when you're tempted to quit or play small. That kind of support is invaluable on the journey. Achievement is not about isolating yourself from everyone. It's about choosing association with care and wisdom. Look for people who cheer your progress genuinely, who won't let you get away with mediocrity for long, who see your potential and remind you of it on the days when you yourself forget. It's not always comfortable to walk with such people. Sometimes the best companions are the ones who challenge you the most and refuse your excuses. Be mindful of the opposite force as well. The wrong crowd can pull you off the map before you even realize that you've drifted. It's easy to drift when you're surrounded by those who mock ambition or laugh at discipline, who minimize effort or settle for less than their best. Guard your associations like you guard your dream. Spend time with those who help you grow stronger. And remember, you also have a role to play. Be the companion who inspires others around you. Set the example with your own habits. Offer encouragement and honest support. Share what you learn along your journey. When achievement becomes a shared journey, everyone benefits from the collective energy. The energy multiplies and the destination comes into view that much sooner for all. On this long journey, you'll meet many people. Some will be with you for a short mile or two, others for the long road across many seasons. Choose companions who walk in the direction you yourself want to go with your life. Let their discipline, vision, and commitment sharpen your own focus and determination. Because in the end, the journey is richer and the achievement greater and deeper when it's traveled together, not in isolation. There comes a point on every journey of growth where the excitement starts to wear thin. The first burst of enthusiasm fades away. The road feels long and sometimes lonely, and distractions start calling your name loudly. That's when persistence becomes precious fuel. If you want to arrive at your destination, consistency is what will get you there in the end, long after motivation has risen and fallen. Achievement doesn't belong to those who dabble, who start and start again without commitment, who let every new wind push them off course. It belongs to the persistent men and women, the ones who show up day after day after day, even when the mood is gone and results are slow. Consistency outperforms random bursts of excitement followed by long periods of retreat and delay. I've watched people light up with a new goal, full of energy and fire in the beginning, only to see them drift away when progress comes slower than they expected or hoped. But the ones who keep putting one foot in front of the other, step by step, who keep making the calls they need to make, who keep reading the books they need to read, who keep practicing the fundamentals every day, those are the ones who cross the finish line. Persistence isn't always dramatic or flashy. It's not about grand gestures or heroic moments. It's about steady, repeated action over time, doing the thing you promised yourself you'd do, even when it isn't fun or exciting anymore, especially when it isn't fun or exciting. It's the discipline to keep writing that page, keep working on that skill, keep refining your craft, even when nobody's watching and no one applauds and applause is nowhere to be found. Ask yourself with honesty and courage, can you keep showing up for your own dream? Can you keep pressing on one step at a time, especially on the days when nothing seems to go your way or make sense? That's what separates the achievers from the dreamers. Persistence transforms small, ordinary days into extraordinary outcomes over the years. It's important to remember this simple truth: small progress, repeated consistently, compounds over time like interest in the bank. A little improvement each day, just a little, a bit more knowledge, an extra effort, a new connection or a better habit. That's how momentum is quietly built. Suddenly, The mountain doesn't seem so steep. The finish line isn't as far as it once appeared. Don't be discouraged by slow progress. Achievement is rarely instant or overnight. Most of the time, success arrives so gradually you hardly notice it while it's happening, until one day you look up and realize how far you've come from where you started. Celebrate the small victories along the way. Let each step forward be a reason to persist. If you ever feel your resolve starting to slip, revisit your vision with fresh eyes. Reconnect with your companions and support, and remind yourself why you started this journey. Persistence is easier when the goal truly matters, when the company is strong and inspiring, and when the path, even with all its twists and turns, still leads you in the right direction overall. In the end, it's not the size of your talent or the brilliance of your plan on paper that makes the greatest difference. It's the willingness to keep going today, one more day, one more call, one more try, one more lesson learned and applied. Achievement belongs to the persistent few. Make consistency your daily habit, and the moment of arrival will take care of itself. There's a moment after all the effort and strain, the planning and the persistence and the long nights. When you arrive at your goal or cross that line, you look around, and for a brief, beautiful moment, there's a sense of arrival and fulfillment. The destination you pictured is now your reality. But here's the truth about real achievement. Arriving isn't the end of your story. It's simply time to redraw the map again. Achievement is a continuous journey, not a single event, a cycle of setting goals, pursuing them with heart, reaching them, and then lifting your sights higher. The danger is in believing that arrival is final, that the journey is complete and you can stop growing. Celebrate, yes, absolutely celebrate. Take time to acknowledge how far you've come. Recognize the lessons you've learned on the road, the growth you've gained, and the character you've built. But don't set up permanent camp at one achievement. There's always another horizon waiting. I've met people who, after reaching a big milestone, coasted for a long while without new vision. They thought the work was done forever, but soon restlessness crept in quietly. Why did it arrive? Because achievement isn't just about reaching one place one time. It's about the habit of striving and learning, growing, stretching, and contributing continuously. When you stop aiming, you stop advancing. So after the celebration, after the gratitude, after you've taken stock of the journey, it's time to evaluate with honest eyes. Ask yourself, what really worked? What didn't work as well as you hoped? What could you do better next time around? The journey gives feedback with every step, and each arrival offers a new vantage point, a clearer view of what's truly possible. This is when you set a new destination for yourself. Maybe it's a bigger challenge in the same field. Maybe it's a deeper purpose with more impact. Maybe it's helping others draw their own maps. Each new map is richer for what you've learned before. The confidence that comes from past achievement fills you with the courage to reach even higher. Don't be afraid to reinvent your goals periodically. Life changes. You change. Your values evolve, and so must your ambitions and targets. Redraw the map as needed with faith. The very ACT of setting new goals keeps you engaged, sharp, curious, and continually growing. And remember, there's no final limit to how far you can go with your life. The only limits are the ones you accept or believe. Along this journey, you inspire others too. Your story becomes a signpost by the road, proof that the map can be drawn by ordinary people. The distance can be traveled with courage, and new destinations can always be imagined. Achievement is not a static event or trophy. It's a living process unfolding over time. So take a moment to enjoy where you are. Be grateful for the journey behind you and for the companions who walked beside you. But don't let this arrival be the end of your growth. Pick up your pen and draw a new map, and set out again with renewed purpose. Because the greatest satisfaction comes not just from reaching one single destination, but from continually discovering what's possible with your life, your gifts, and your time. That's how the map of achievement keeps expanding. One arrival becomes the launch pad for the next, and the journey, well, that never really ends at all.